Hi there. My name is John Stevens. I'm pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we are part of the ELCA. And welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where I take a look at the lectionary text and I time to an item from the Dollar Tree or the junk drawer or the kids' room or the garage. That's how we've been doing it. And thank you so much for spending a little bit of your week with me in this way. And thank you for the love that you're sharing with your kids and your congregations and your families. You, my friends, are rocking it. Thank you. All right, this is for Palm Sunday / Passion Sunday, and not only it's for the Revised Common Lectionary and the Narrative Lectionary. In the Narrative Lectionary, we're just looking at the Palm Processional or Palm Sunday per se, and then in the Revised Common Lectionary, you have both the Palm and then the Passion reading. So it's both and so we're going to look at the Palm Sunday, the Palm Processional first, and then we'll move into the Passion one. So the item I'm using, I was at the Dollar Tree the other day. I know, shocking. And I was there, and so now in ours, there's a small place at the front where they've got kind of odds and ends. That's the entire store, odds and ends. But there's a little kiosk with different display items, and in this display, they had rocks. And they had rocks with words etched on them, like imagine. Yeah, I like that one, imagine. Or dream. Yeah, dream. Or love. Yep, love. And then I got 4 of them, and then courage. Four different ones, and imagine what God is doing in this time and in this place. Can you dream what's happening? It is amazing. We are called to love. We are called to love one another. We are called to love the world, and that, my friends, takes courage. I think Jesus had a lot of courage as he rode that donkey into town, and then there are those that tell the disciples, when the disciples are crying out, Hosanna in the name, Hosanna. And then they say, tell your disciples to be quiet. And Jesus says, if they are quiet, then the stones would cry out. The stones would cry out. Imagine what that would be like. The courage that it might take. And then so if you can't find these, I like these because they're etched in. But you can get you can get a smooth stone. You can get them at pretty much any hobby place or art supply crafting place. And then there's metallic Sharpies, and then you can write on the stone a word, or maybe write on there a picture. Maybe what would being brave look like? What would love look like? Do a little stick figure. I'm not an artist, so my stick figure would not even look like a stick figure. But this is the direction I'm going with and the stones would cry out. That all of creation, if they don't cry out, we are called to do that. We are driven to do that. If we don't do it, even the stones. And then I like all of these because I can read them to the kids if the kids can't read. This one says courage, and it takes courage. Can you imagine and moving into that? All right, so that's Passion Palm Sunday, and we can tie it into there. That's Palm. I said Passion. That's Palm Sunday portion of it. On the Passion Sunday, there are two. One direction I'm going. One direction, and that is the moving. It's the index finger when we go, God's number one, God's number one, God's number one. Or, as I got at Old Lutheran, thanks to Chris Naitland, who is in Vancouver, and he saw this at Old Lutheran, and he said, John, you need this, because he knows that I used to use the Pass the Peace one from the Old Lutheran, but this is God's number one, God's number one, God's number one. Then, so it moves from that. So you can do here, I'm holding it like this, so it'd be like my index finger here. And that's God's number one. And then it moves here. We're going to get you. We're going to get you. And that's that image That's the feeling I get in this, where the crowd is all kinds of people. I want to be very clear that this is not moving this into being anti-Jewish. This is not anti-Semitic. This is we are painting the picture of the crowd, and the crowd through the Gospels take on its own personification, its own person, and it's outside of race. It's outside of the crowd is us. That we're number one, we're gonna get you. And one of the things is I like this because it, for lack of a better word, and it's foam, it softens it. There is something that's really, I can feel it in the core of my being when it moves from this, we're number one, to we're gonna get you. And that's, yeah. Actually, when I'm doing this, I realize, I look back, and the way the focus works, the cross kind of blurs a little bit. Yeah, and then, interesting. So that's the direction I'm going, talking about it, this shift in the crowd. And then moving from there, then we glimpse the resurrection. It's not there yet. Not there yet, but we're getting there. As Tony Campola would say, as he tells the story about the preach off, when the pastor, when he gets done and the pastor just taps it, puts a little tap on his knee and goes, that's all right. And then he starts to preach. Friday's here, but Sunday's a coming. And so we're not at Good Friday yet, but this is the story that we tell at Good Friday. A lot of times it's because that's the time where people are going to hear it. But we're number one. You're number one. And it's almost time we're saying we're number one, but God's number one. All right, there we go. That's the direction I'm going for Palm Sunday and Passion Sunday. I'm hoping it can be useful for your own children's sermon. And thank you so much for the love that you're sharing with your kids and your congregation and your families. You, my friend, are rocking it. All right, peace. Oh, one last thing. Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree has, I've done the gum all this time, the gum thing. The Dollar Tree has 3 types of gum that will work for you. It has extra, it has another extra, and it's got the sour warhead. So you can just have the pack out. But these are gums that have sticks that you can undo the end. I'll share the video, but I want to let you know that they have them so you can get them early. There we are. I'll share that in the next video. I'm going to be putting the Easter video up soon. But anyway, all right, peace. We'll see you next week.